Welcome back to Between State Lines, the holiday special. We are at episode 26, and this is the last one of 2024. I feel like we need to do something huge, like conjure up some spirits. So I got a candle going in the background for our ghost children.
Yeah, your ghost children. Your ghost children.
Hey, you you're part of this podcast, so you
I've
have
inherited.
you've inherited. You get the girl.
Oh, yay. The creepier one.
Um, so I don't know if you're the same way, but I am a sucker for Hallmark Christmas movies. They're terrible. Like they're just awful. I mean, in general, I'm a sucker for like good rom-com, but
Okay.
around like after Halloween, I am all in on Hallmark. Um, but I do realize that for our audience, the production value is absolute trash and the acting is usually subpar. So bad I feel like I could probably be in it and do a decent job
It's
acting.
relatable. I love it. I love it. I'm like, terrible. What are you talking about?
I mean, so I saw this movie last week. It's called Sharing Christmas and it's from 2017. It's a little bit older. Um, but it's basically about this real estate developer that buys this mall and is planning to evict all the tenants, knock the building down, and build their own new development. Of course, one of the stores is a Christmas store that apparently makes so much money they can employ not one, not two, but three people, plus made enough money to allow the previous owners to pass the shop on to their daughter and retire slash move to I think Florida. Um, but at the same time, when she gets the eviction notice, the new owner doesn't have the money to get a new place somewhere. The logic is
They they used to own that spot. They sold it so the parents could retire in Florida, but she just had to keep up the business, and then the mall got was bought out.
yep,
That's my theory.
that
Without
so,
ever seeing this and just quickly Googling, because I
so
will be watching this.
so the lead real estate developer, of course, he falls in love with the daughter of the new owner, who is the daughter of the old owners, and he starts weirdly like working in the store. I don't understand how or why that his employer just lets him do two jobs at once, but he's like helping them upgrade their stuff, their equipment, like helping them sell product, all while also being the lead developer on this real estate project and still planning to evict them on January 1st. And he exists in the same space as someone he's trying to screw over while also falling in love with her. And she has no qualms with it. She has no issue. She just like goes with it. Um and I don't even think it's really referenced outside of clips with him working with the construction team right outside her store. There's no reference to him actually getting her out of there. It's like they pretend it's not going to happen, and then it happens. Um, so so now
It's a
when I
Hallmark
say
movie. It's not supposed to
it,
happen.
so when I say the production of this movie sucks, I'm not lying. So when at the start of the movie, when the real estate developer meets this lady, she gives him a tour of this like 300 square foot store, and all of the ornaments look like they were made by my daughter at school.
Okay, that's the best kind, but when it's made by your child, I don't want to pay for that. That's
Right?
not holding them afloat.
I love my daughter's crafts. Would I open a store selling the same thing over and over again? No. Um,
Especially when
And
you
at
can make
one,
them at home. I have our crafts from this week. It's a
are those
button wreath.
buttons?
Yeah, it's a button wreath.
Oh,
That was mine. This is my children.
oh,
Yeah, my button wreath. Um, My daughter had to make two. She's special.
very nice, very nice. That is an artist's fine work.
I have four of them. I could start a store.
You could, and and then we find someone to evict you, and then you fall in love with.
You know what? That's the only way it's going to happen for me at this point.
Um, but yeah, at one point the developer dude like gives away a stuffed animal to a girl, just like gives her a random girl in the store, just gives her an item, a doll or a stuffed animal, and doesn't even charge her for it, doesn't pay for it, just he's not the owner of the store, he just gives it away.
What gives? They're losing their store. He's just giving. He's like, you know what? You're not going to need it.
He's like, don't worry about it. You'll be gone in a week anyways.
Some kids that resemble elves in the back actually just made that. I watched it.
So I'm gonna spoil it for you. I know you're gonna watch it, but I'll spoil it for you.
That's okay.
So the movie ends with the original owners coming back from retirement to work in the store again. So now we're bringing the total employees to five. Uh, and the developer's dad, so the guy that falls in love with the girl, his dad is apparently the owner of the entire firm. And he convinces him within like 5 seconds of being in the store to not knock down the mall. Like that that easily he breaks like legal agreements with like contractors, probably lost a bunch of money,
Yeah, we're a little
but
far into this.
for his son, and then his son decides to quit real estate and work in the store. So now we have six full-time employees.
Wow. I mean, they have a whole mall now. It's now a Christmas mall instead of one store in the mall. I can't imagine that the rest of the stores are like, oh yeah, let's change our minds. Like we're too far into this. This is not plausible. But I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, it's and like the other stores, like little by little, they all find new places. I'm like, so you're telling me everyone else in the mall can find a new place to have their store, but you can't find anywhere in the entire city at all.
Nope. Nowhere in the entire city. And it's a city. It's not even a small town. This isn't very Hallmark of them.
Yeah, that was like, and that's I don't know between like Hallmark and like Netflix, their romance movies. I feel like Netflix does better on like the production sets, but a little bit worse on the acting.
I don't know. I When you asked me to come with my top five, my top one is Holiday, and I love that movie.
I literally just watched it the other day again.
I love it. I want to go home and watch it tonight.
So now that you mentioned top movies, so what are your top five holiday or Christmas movies of all time?
Okay, so Holiday was definitely up there. Christmas Vacation, Elf, Home Alone, Grinch, Holiday, Home Alone, Christmas, Elf, Grinch. Oh shoot, that's five. Uh, and Nightmare Before Christmas. I know it's not totally Christmas, but my daughter makes me watch it all the time because she's obsessed with it. And The Grinch, honestly. Those two are my tribute to my children. And I was wearing my Grinch sweatshirt yesterday that said, "You're a mean one."
Uh, the so which Grinch? The Jim Carrey, the original one from like the 80s or whatever, or the most recent one?
Honestly, any of them. Because isn't there like two most recent ones too?
I think there are. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the music in one of them is so good. Like that opening song. going in is so freaking good, and one of the newer ones. Um, yeah, I think that they're all great. The old one, like tried and true, love it. Can't, but those newer ones, my daughter picks between all of them. She doesn't really like the Jim Carrey one, but like I have a soft spot for Jim Carrey, so yeah, I'm down with any of them.
I mean,
How about you?
they're all good choices. I have so I have Home Alone 2 is my number one, which the first one is obviously amazing, but I feel like the second one is like it's just even better. And
Yeah, I looped them in together, but honestly, the second one is better than the first for
and
me.
every year without fail, when Marv goes into the basement of the house and like I don't know why I know it's so dumb, but I laugh so hard I cry. I'm like just tearing up. The stupidest thing, but it's just so funny. And plus Kevin's like a total psycho. Like I feel like he is a future serial killer.
Such a good one. Such a good one. I mean, I feel like I was one of those little kids that was like wanting to set up traps, and I tried like setting up. It was not really for anybody. It was more for catching my cats or our dog. But yeah, like I don't know. Harriet the Spy was big when I was a kid,
you're,
so it
you're
just
like in
spoke
your
to my little heart.
you're like in the basement, like hooking up the electrical box to the sink. You're like, hey, Dad, come down here and try this.
No, I was mostly like climbing trees and setting up traps with like the thing that held all of like the sports balls and whatnot, and a rope and hanging it from a tree. All sorts of weird stuff like that. I was a weird kid for sure. My kids aren't totally into Home Alone, which yeah, I don't know. There's just some things I'm just really not sure about with them. It's like that and the fact that my son will not eat mashed potatoes or watermelon. But that's neither here nor there. Just not sure
Break
about that.
time. Why does he not like mashed potatoes? Because
I
they're
don't know.
delicious.
I know he like won't even try them. But my theory is that when I was pregnant with him, I had tasted mashed potatoes once and they tasted like soap, and I was like, "Ooh, that was gross. Like somebody didn't clean this dish all the way." And so then I tried them again, and I was like, "Oh, maybe it's the whole batch of mashed potatoes." And then I ate mashed potatoes again another time, and I was like, what the hell? Like this is a totally different batch of mashed potatoes. Like why does everything taste like soap? And I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna Google this and it's gonna tell me I'm dying. And I Googled it and it was like really early pregnancy signs. And then I've since Googled that and I must have switched timelines since then because I can find nothing about mashed potatoes tasting like soap in this timeline. Nothing. But it was like the first thing that popped up and it was like, oh my god, do I should check and see if I'm pregnant. So my best friend, I was on the phone with her and I was like, so I'm gonna go take a pregnancy test. She's like, call me back right away. And I was like, okay, cool. So I told her actually before I told my kid's dad, because he's at the gym. He like texted me and he's like, do you want tacos? I was like, no, just get home. He's like, okay, are you okay?
Okay, so that is that. Do you Does cilantro taste like cleaner to you? Are you one of those people too?
It used to. And then when I got pregnant with my daughter, cilantro now tastes good. Don't know. It used to taste like
Weird.
straight soap, like even the tiniest bit of it in there. If I like, oh, what's it called? There's this one like health food place that I used to go to every once in a while, and they made really awesome bowls, and they just covered everything in cilantro, and I could not eat there because even if it had a little bit in it, it was just like the whole thing was like detergent.
That's so weird. I have never tasted that when I eat cilantro, but
I
I
don't
also love
now.
cilantro.
Now cilantro is delicious, so thank you. Shout out to my daughter. Like, you changed my life.
I Is it just me or does cilantro is just the worst thing to cut? Like, have you ever actually tried to like chop cilantro? It
No,
like
enough
gets
to
all over your
ruin it.
hands.
It's only been good for me this past like 3 years. I'm not gonna ruin it for me now.
It's so annoying though. I'll like wash it and they'll get on my hands and like just stick to my fingers, and then I go to chop it and it's all of my fingers. I can't get it off the cutting board. It's just a big hassle.
It just wants to be one with you. It's okay. Accept it. Just roll with it.
um okay, so my
Next week, you'll
second
have
movie,
cilantro everywhere.
you're, next year for my birthday, everyone's gonna get me cilantro stuff. Cilantro themed birthday gifts.
Perfect. That's what I hope nothing less for you.
So my number two film of all time is Klaus from Netflix. And have you seen that yet?
I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I'm gonna do a quick Google. So,
So it's basically for audience. It's an animated Netflix exclusive that basically is the origins of Santa Claus. And if you have not seen it, it's really good.
yes, it actually almost made my list. But I just thought it was Klaus. It's Klaus?
You know, tomato, tomato.
Okay. Well, yes, I went on a binge of that one. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, but I think I watched it a dozen times.
It's so good. It's so unexpectedly good. Um,
So cute.
Number three is also another Netflix exclusive called Love Hard. You seen that one? No, maybe.
Don't
So
know.
again, for audience, that is basically this woman either writes a blog or is in a magazine. She writes articles about her like train wreck Tinder dates and her train wreck date in life. Um, and then she meets this guy in New York uh, on Tinder, and they hit it off. And like 2 weeks after talking to him for the first time, she decides to fly out and surprise him for Christmas. You
I
seen
saw
it?
this like just a couple weeks ago actually for the first time, and I really did like that. That was an unexpectedly good movie.
It's so good. Like it's so funny. And yeah, basically just catfishes her, and then she kind of catfishes the other dude. But it's so good. It's so funny. Audience, I highly recommend it. Go watch it. Um, Number four, it's an oldie. It's A Wonderful Life. I watch that one every year. I have watched it every year since I was like probably 3 or 4, and so it's from like the 30s or 40s. Um,
Yeah, I fall asleep whenever I watch that one.
I do too. That's part of the fun. When I was a kid, I hated it. So I would like we'd start watching it, I'd fall asleep, it'd be bedtime, and then it'd be present time in the morning. So I would skip through like Christmas Eve church stuff and just go on to the
Yeah,
presents.
I don't know. Maybe I'll give it another try because of you. We'll see.
It's I mean I wouldn't feel bad at falling asleep in it, but uh number five, Santa Claus, the original Santa Claus, the first one. Uh, Two is all right. Three and the Disney series is a train wreck. And I almost did not list this because Tim Allen is a huge trumper, but I'm thinking of this as a situation in a vacuum. So we're not considering anything outside of the movie series.
Yes, that is a good one. I don't know that I loved any of the like spin-off ones. I feel like their original two might have been good. Can't even remember because I felt like once they started like extending it, I stopped tuning in.
Yeah, they could have ended, and especially I watched like I think one episode of the series that came out last year, and my God, it's just I thought three was bad. I thought Hallmark films were bad. This series is just absolute trash.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, and then I have two honorable mentions. Number one, Jingle Jangle, and number two, Die Hard.
Oh, Die Hard's a good one. That's a good one. Um, yeah, I put The Holiday, and A Charlie Brown Christmas, and The Christmas Chronicles. I felt like that was really good too. But
See, I
maybe
tried to watch that. I couldn't get into it.
I just might like Christmas movies. Holiday though. Holiday is like by far my favorite one.
It's so good. It's so good. I don't know. Like, is it Emma Roberts, right? That's
Yeah.
the actress
Yes.
and Australian dude. So, okay.
Yeah.
Side note here: if there are any Australians listening to this podcast,
I'm
I think
sorry.
Australians. I oh I gaff nah. I think I think first
So
of all, I'm sorry. Second of all, I think Australians have the most attractive, dare I say, sexiest accent. Man or woman, I don't any gender, any identifier. Your accent is just. I'm sorry. It's just that's that's why I try to emulate you because I want to sound like you.
man, I just love accents. I love certain voices, really. Like, because I was like, while you're saying that, thinking, oh, British accents. Yeah, like them too. I just like accents.
Brit- British accents just sound like they want to be Australian. They want to be Australians, but they don't want to commit to the Australian life. Um,
Maybe your Australian accent. I, maybe. Just a little bit.
oh, I am
Nice
so sorry,
bluey tone,
Australia.
by the way.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's funny because these are like little bells. So whenever I walk, the cats follow me around like
You were a giant cat toy.
I'm a giant cat toy. They're all like, the hell? Like, there's one you can't see him. He's in the corner over here. Just perked his head up. Sorry, buddy. Go back to
That is
sleep.
hilarious.
Uh, yes, Australians, we love you. We're
We love
sorry. I'm sorry, but just know that I do this with love.
he wants to be
Yeah,
like you.
I want to be like I want to be like you, like that song from the
Yeah.
Jungle Book. I
I know,
want to
I
be
was
like
gonna
you.
throw out some oohs.
Random question that I thought about today. So you know how have you ever had like Stouffer's like frozen dinners, like the big? No, I guess. Okay,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
you have. Okay, that's a weird question. Okay, there's a context to this question. So I bought like one of those mac and cheese big things today for dinner, and I threw it in the oven, and it says not to take off the plastic, right? But in my brain, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that plastic is gonna melt. Like, isn't it weird that it doesn't melt, or is it like just science, or
It said not to,
it said don't take the plastic off. It said leave it on
and you're throwing it in the oven.
in the oven, and
What?
it didn't melt.
What?
It stayed intact. So
That can't be real food, right?
maybe it's a glitch in the matrix. But
I don't know. We're on the wrong timeline. We're in the wrong timeline. What? Like,
yeah,
they didn't even spring for the foil. They developed a different kind of plastic?
we got plastic before we got visuals on Aliens. Which,
Wow.
by the way, uh, we have not mentioned the drones yet in this podcast.
Yeah.
What is going on with the drones?
Okay, I've heard many things on the internet. Um, one of the things is one of the things that I believe that it's us. We're the drones. But what are these orbs? Like that's what we should really be talking about because somebody said that they think that the drones were sent in because of the orbs. I think the drones are just like honest it feels like we are in the hell timeline and that is really freaking scary if that's like our government or whatever coming in right now. We're so disassociated that we're like whatever, whatever. Have you seen the drones? I haven't seen them, but my first video that I saw of that, I went and closed my curtains.
Uh, apparently, they are in my state, but I have not seen them. I've seen like disputed videos. I know they're in Utah, apparently, over like one of the Air Force bases down there. But which is weird. Like you think that if it was not us, if it was just like another country or aliens, you would think that like the government would have shot them down by now. There's no way they would let like these drones fly over like Air Force bases and like you know closed off airspace.
There's no way that there's drones out there and they're like, don't worry about them, but don't shoot them down. No. If that was, they would be like, have at it. We'll take care of it. Neither one of those is happening. They're like, don't worry about it. It's not us. We don't know who it is, but it's not us. And then if people shoot down, it's like, no, 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 don't shoot them down though. There could be people in them. That's the scariest part for me. So these drones are big enough that people might be in them. That sounds a little bit terrifying. I was picturing like a frisbee style, like small drone. I don't even know. Ones that you can get probably like $40 off Amazon. Nope. Yeah, and then just the fact that they're like protecting them. Leave them alone. Just let them be cool. Like that's scary to me. What kind of surveillance are you doing here? And I've heard they're in my state too. More towards like the Portland area. Thank goodness, but like it's only a matter of time. It feels like, do you remember those killer wasps that were like really big?
Yeah, yeah.
What happened to those?
I I feel like they were in a different timeline because I haven't heard anything about them in like the last 2 years. I
Yeah.
know they were in Washington and like northern Idaho, I think. But I mean, they're freaking like insects who fly. I feel like it wouldn't take very long to migrate throughout the
And
entire country.
I felt like I saw them like in Arizona when I was there. Because we were out at the lake one day and there was this wasp nest and the wasps were like 2 inches long. They were so scary. And everybody I was with, we're just like hanging out under this canopy area with these giant wasps. And I was like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. That's terrifying. And then later that summer, they were like, they're in Washington. And I was like, I think they're in Arizona. And then I haven't heard anything. No updates on the wasps.
I am one of my favorite pastimes in the spring and summer and early fall is going out in the backyard and finding hornet's nest and spraying those fuckers down with like the wasp spray because we have a back patio and it's like so much wood and there's like the freaking corners where they love to freaking nest. And
Yeah.
so I think one year we had like 2 dozen nests back there and I was like going out like 5 o'clock, like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck
You're
you.
not even scared they're going to come attack you when you're spraying them?
Oh, they're sleeping. They're going to bed for the night, and they fall down. I point at them and laugh at them, and I run inside because I don't want to die. And
Yeah.
apparently, if you step on a wasp or a hornet, they send out like a signal like that reaches 3 freaking miles away,
No
and like
way.
lets their buddies come and find them and attack you if you're still there.
They're like ants where they send out that chemical smell if you squish them.
Dude,
Or the
okay,
stink
fuck.
bugs. Do you guys have stink bug problem there? Because we have bug problem here.
We had a stink bug problem in Virginia. Also, fuck stink bugs. They smell like absolute. Especially if you don't like. I'm trying to like not kill them, like actively put them outside, and they like they squirt their little juice in my hand. Like fuck you, man. I'm trying to help
You
you.
actually
Go
have
to
that happen
hell.
to you? I take
Yeah,
them with a little bit of toilet paper and then I flush them down the toilet.
yeah. And they still like you grab them, they still like spray it, and it still smells.
Don't know. I feel like I very gently get them with the toilet paper, and they're all wrapped up because I don't want to feel them wiggle or anything like that. And then I just go plop them in the toilet. I've never smelt anything. But my aunt used to vacuum them, and she had to buy a new vacuum because that
Uh,
was horrific. Yeah. Ugh.
yeah. Okay. Also, honorable mention. Fuck ants because ants are also so annoying. Like they will literally come from God knows where, and like good luck closing whatever hole is they're coming in, because they'll find another way in and they'll invade your fucking house. And just like, I will do so much cleaning in the kitchen and I'll still like see a pile of ants. Like, fuck off, go to hell.
Yeah, we had a bunch of ants one time this last summer. I have no idea what they were in the house for. I have no idea where they were coming from. They were just everywhere. They were everywhere. And have you ever squished an ant and smelt it?
They'll like squish it and go like right up to like its dead body. No.
Yeah. Like squish it and then like
Hold on. Okay, you tell me that you squish an ant and then you touched it with your finger and then the smell. Okay,
no, you just
all right.
squish it and then you just like you don't even have to get that close to your nose. They smell like straight chemicals. It is wild.
Okay.
Wild.
Um, that's an interesting thing that you've confessed to do.
Yes. Yes. I asked somebody about this recently and I don't remember what they said to me in response, but it was somehow worse. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. Because I feel really weird admitting this right now. But yeah, somebody asked me once if I had ever done that, and I think it was like 10 years ago, and I was like, oh no, I've definitely never done that. Yeah, I have since then, and it does smell like straight chemicals. Can't confirm. But maybe it's
Okay,
like
well, you're all.
cilantro. Maybe it's not like that to everybody. Like, if you have squished an ant with your finger, please reach out and let us know if it did or didn't smell like chemicals.
Yeah, or if it doesn't smell like chemicals, you're pregnant. Like that could be
Yeah,
also be a.
yeah. Maybe. I feel like, no, because it still smells like it. Maybe if you squished an ant and it does smell like chemicals, you're not pregnant. Because I don't think I ever did that while pregnant. Cheaper pregnancy test. Find an ant. If we Google this later and it says that this is a way to find out if you're pregnant or not, like
Google
we
this later.
created
Yeah, I'm gonna
this
Google this right
timeline.
now.
We
Let's
created
see.
this timeline. We manifested this.
Ants smell like cleaner, no chemicals, when smashed.
Why did you have to put so many words in to figure that out?
Steph. I'm not judging you for smelling the ants.
Well, I just put ant smell and it says when crushed.
Well, I have to be specific 'cause if it smells like chemicals, because they're like, oh, it smells like flowers. This person says it smells like, oh, formic acid. It's the most chemical defense of ants. Interesting.
You want to know what AI
Okay.
says it smells like?
What?
Rotten coconut odor.
It's oddly specific.
Yeah, often compared to a rotten coconut. How long does it take for a coconut to go rotten? Because I have had one for a long time at one point because I couldn't open it. And I finally did get it open. I don't remember that thing smelling like that. But I will never forget how an ant smells.
And now I will never forget how you smell ants. And that now I'll know. If I smush an ant, I'll know to smell it and be like, Steph was right. It
Yeah,
smells like
hopefully.
chemicals.
Or you're pregnant.
Or you uh yeah, and then when you smash them, it just like attracts more. So I try to like vacuum them up into a little vacuum cleaner because then it's not killing them. And then I
But
take them
do they get
outside and
mad?
like, well, I take them outside and like release them 2 miles away.
Oh, okay. I've done that with a spider once. I captured it and then I drove it downtown and threw it away in the jar in a trash can because I figured I don't know if he survived or not. And if he does get loose, I don't think he'll find his way back home.
Wait, so you captured a spider
Mm-hmm.
in a jar.
Mm-hmm.
You, you drove the jar away from your house and then threw the jar in the trash as like an extra insult to this poor spider.
Well, because it was downtown, it was outside, it was like a metal trash can, and I did it with force because I figured if the jar breaks, he's free. If it doesn't, that's just the way the cookie crumbles.
hold, hold on. So you drove downtown and you threw the jar in a way that it might have broken open.
Maybe. One we
Oh
never
my
know.
god. This is the best story after smelling ants.
You're
Go
welcome.
smelling ants,
What
spider in
other
a
dark
jar.
secrets do you want to know? It was a wolf spider. It was giant. It was on my mom's lap. And I was like, I just grabbed a jar and I went over and swooped it in. And my mom was freaking out when she realized there was like, she was basically, like hanging out with a giant spider like a child, just sitting
So
on her lap.
the most peaceful of the spiders.
He was so big. I hope that he survived, but I don't know. And that wasn't even all that I did. I swooped him up in the jar. I went and picked up my best friend. I made her go downtown with me. And then we threw the spider away. And then we drove off. Went
Next
back.
thing you know, you're gonna add like, oh, I actually poured like hydrochloric acid in the jar.
No,
Just
I now when I see spiders, because I am part of the you might as well call a hearse because I'm about to pet that thing Facebook. um I try to leave spiders alone because there's this one meme once that said I deserve to die because I wanted to feel seen or something as a picture of a spider. And so now when I see them, I'm like, they're just trying to live. So I just walk away. Just walk away. Don't tell my family that. But yeah, like I saw a big wolf spider in the downstairs of my house and I was like, nope, turn the light off and went upstairs.
see, I saw a black widow outside a couple months ago, and I did not kill it. I should have killed it, but I did not kill it. It was
That is
like,
like the number one spider that people save, and you might as well call it hers because I'm about to pet that thing.
uh
Yeah,
okay.
people constantly like this spider's dehydrated, and then they'll show it like happy and healthy and hydrated again. It's wild. Black widows are everybody's favorites.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so many things that you just learned about me in the last 3 minutes.
Oh. Okay. So
Take it in.
uh it's, it's taking me a while to process this information.
It's a lot.
Uh, uh what a wild ride we just went on as a family here. We went from Christmas movies to smelling ants when you smush them to torturing spiders
Whoa, to not torturing spiders. That was in the
to not
past.
torturing. So full circle, full circle.
Yeah, we're better people in this timeline, apparently.
So mentioned timelines. 2 weeks ago, I during the glitch in the Matrix episode, I had the story in the back of my mind, and I completely forgot about it. But it's one of the most well-known, supposedly true glitch in the Matrix stories that I completely forgot about until today when I saw a TikTok about it, like referenced it, and then I remembered all the whole entire story. And I was like, shit, I got to tell this story to Steph and our audience. So you might have heard this, but I don't know. It's called A Parallel Life slash Awoken by a Lamp.
I
You heard this
love
one?
this one. Yes.
Yeah. My last semester at a certain college, I was assaulted by a football player for walking where he was trying to drive. Note, he was 325 pounds and I was 120 pounds. While unconscious on the ground, I lived a different life. I met a wonderful young lady. She made my heart skip and my face red. I pursued her for months and dispatched a few jerk boyfriends before I won her over. After 2 years, we got married. Almost immediately, she bore me a daughter. I hate that terminology, bore me. Her fruit of her loom bore me a daughter. I bet, like,
Yeah.
she gave birth to your daughter. That's much better.
Bearing children kills me too. Yeah, I hate it
Oh
all.
god, you will bear my fruit. Like what are we in the 1800s.
I've got
With a
my, this is my
stress.
Santa stress ball. Go on.
um, I had a great job. My wife didn't have to work outside of the house. My daughter was 2. My wife, bore me a son. My son was the joy of my life. I would walk into his room every morning before I left for work and doted on him and my daughter. One day, while sitting on the couch, I noticed that the perspective of the lamp was odd, somewhat inverted. It was still in 3D, but just wrong. It was a square lamp base, red with gold trim on 4 legs and a white square shade. I was transfixed. I couldn't look away from it. I stayed up all night staring at it. The next morning, didn't go to work as something was just not right about that lamp. I stopped eating. I left the couch only to use the bathroom at first. Soon I stopped doing that too, as I wasn't eating or drinking. I stared at the lamp for 3 days before my wife got really worried. She had someone come and try to talk to me, but by this time, my cognizance was breaking up and my wife was freaking out. She took the kids to her mother's house just before I had my epiphany. The lamp is not real. The house is not real. My wife, my kids, none of it is real. The last 10 years of my life are not fucking real. The lamp started to grow wider and deeper. It was still inverted dimensions. It took up my entire perspective, and all I could see was red. I heard voices, screams, all kinds of weird noises, and I became aware of pain. A fucking shit ton of pain. The first words I said were, "I'm missing teeth," and opened my eyes. I was laying on my back on the sidewalk, surrounded by people that I didn't know. Lots were freaking out, and I was completely confused. At some point, a cop scooped me up, dragged/walked me across the sidewalk, and threw me down in the back of a cop car. I was still confused. I was taken to the hospital by the cop. Seems he didn't want to wait for the ambulance to arrive, and given a CT scan and tons of other testing. I went through about 3 years of horrid depression. I was grieving the loss of my wife and my children and dealing with the knowledge that they never actually existed. I was scared that I was going insane, and I would cry myself to sleep when hoping I could just see her in my dreams. I never have, but sometimes I still see my son, usually just a glimpse of out of my peripheral vision. He is perpetually 5 years old, and I can never hear what he says. And he adds that this person has never seen Inception or Star Trek, so has no idea where this came from, but he believes that he was in a different timeline.
I think that's a little bit different than the version that I heard, or I just summarized it in my mind. But that doesn't surprise me because I fell asleep during Inception and feel like I have still seen the movie because I dreamt about it. Um, but yeah, my best friend passed away 2 months ago, and after that happened, I kept telling her husband that we should go stare at lamps. We would somehow cross into a different timeline, and that none of this is real. Like, all this is it's just made up because one of us were in a horrible accident. I don't know if it was you or me, but none of this is real. Yeah. So I don't know. I love the possibilities on that one. But also, did you hear AI confirmed that there are parallel universes?
I did not hear that.
Yeah, and that's somehow the most believable thing that has been said out there. I'll send you. Somebody said that on TikTok, so I haven't researched it more. But everything else they referenced in that video was stuff that's real, like the drones, the orbs. uh, I don't even remember what else there was. Aliens coming from the ocean, and then it was like AI confirmed that there's other dimensions and they're not that far, and somehow that's super believable.
Do you know that they are actively so you and I were trying to co-dream at one point and obviously never happened.
Yeah, I
Apparently
never got the word.
these tech these, these tech companies have been developing software to put ads in your dreams. I don't know what the case you used to be for it, but like you would dream of an ad being played in your brain.
That is the worst. I like free will, and that doesn't feel like it. that that feels like something that I think that I saw in the Glitch in the Matrix Facebook group, where somebody was talking about they thought something, and then it started popping up with ads like that on their Facebook, and they're like, I understand saying it out loud or Googling something might lead to this, but I just thought it. Like they thought about somebody and if they're dating right now or something. And then like the dating things kept coming up or something like that. And they were like, I have been married for like 22 years. And so they were like, I don't know why I'm getting ads for like all these dating websites and whatnot.
That is and it wouldn't surprise me if like that kind of technology actually either exists or it's like being developed because like companies are always trying to sell crap and that would be the next iteration of ad. But can you imagine like dreaming like me like having this like really nice dream about my grandmother who's passed away, like talking to her about things and like all of a sudden you hear Whopper Whopper double
uh, no, I
and
can't
it's
imagine
like
that.
and it's like over her face, like she's still you're still in the dream, but it's like blocking her face out. Whopper, Whopper, double Whopper
Wow.
at BK. We're not sponsored by BK, guys. Okay, I just have that ad in my head now. So
I know. I can't think of any ads off the top of my head. I can think of a random phone number from an ad, but I don't even know what that is. I don't know. I like it. Oh, there's a one that was when I was a kid, and probably not in this timeline. But it was. I wonder where the yellow went when you brush your teeth with Pepsodent. That's an ad I remember. If that starts showing up in my dreams, I'm gonna flip my lid.
you know what ad I have had in my head for the last like 80 years?
What?
Uh, JG Wentworth 877 cash.
Okay,
And the
what is the one that's in my head?
cor-
Empire Today, because that's the one that's stuck in my
oh
head.
god, yes, it's a carpet company.
Yes.
Yeah,
1-800-588-2300
Empire.
today.
I,
They're
ads were so much
already.
better back in the day.
Well, yeah. Have you seen the commercials that are on now? The worst. Honestly, when there's podcasts that have sponsors and they talk about them, I just do the 30 seconds ahead, 30 seconds ahead. And then if I start in the stories, I'm like, oh, 15 seconds behind.
I know they're like, guys, listen to these ads. They like it actually do things, good things for us. I'm like, fuck your ads. I
Yeah,
feel
if I
bad, but
really
like
like your show, then don't you worry. I will be a Patreon person, but I will not listen to your ads. Sorry.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So that was like, but can you imagine though, like having an entire life and then finding out in the matter of like seconds that it never existed, never happened. Like having this vivid dream,
No,
imagination. It's crazy.
especially made up kids, but obviously he favored his son. The
Oh,
son
because
was
you
the
know he
light
was
of his life.
bored. He was bored to him.
I mean, but he bore his daughter first. Aren't you supposed to like your first child the best? Because then you can't imagine any other children coming in and taking any share of that love, and then somehow all of a sudden the capacity is like different when you have the second one. I don't know, that's just how I see it, but I guess everybody's different. Some people actually do like one of their children better than the other.
Well, I mean, I guess he should like a daughter because a daughter could uh, bore his future son-in-law.
God, I can't handle it.
I hate that word so much. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like it's such an old person. Oh, she bore me children. She
Thank
bore
God for
me.
that childbearing wife.
That those barren childbearing hips.
Yes. Oh God. It's the worst.
I'll just go on and say more cringe shit. Okay,
Were
so
Santa?
with the remainder of our episode today, um, I just wanted to go over some of the creepiest holiday traditions around the world that I found. And there are a ton, but I found six specifically that were the creepiest to me. Um,
How
and the
many of them are
first one,
Irish?
none of them are Irish, sadly. None of them.
Okay, they do some creepy stuff. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Uh, so the first one is from Austria and Bavaria. It's called, or she's called Frau Herchte, and I am so sorry, Austria and Bavaria. I butchered that. But she is a witch who judges whether children have been naughty or nice. And if they're naughty or bad, she slits the bellies of those children and stuffs them full of straw.
I did not see that coming.
And the picture
Wow.
is even creepier that they have of her.
Wow. What was it, Frau?
Frau Perchta, Perchta. Have that lady come to your house. Be like, all right, lady, go call J.G. Wentworth.
Oh my gosh. All of them are scary. Wow. Yeah, no thanks. I'll be good. That's way better than Santa Claus. Do you have Krampus on the
Uh,
list?
yes, Krampus is actually number two, the
Oh,
anti
okay.
Santa. Um, demonic half goat monster with horns and a long tongue. He drags chains behind him as he walks and rattles them ominously. He carries a birch to whip the bad children and sometimes a basket or sack for kidnapping them. Uh, and I remember my German teacher in high school would tell us stories about how there were these festivals in Germany and Austria where people would dress up like Krampus and just go run around and beat people in the streets. And I was like, sign me up.
Wow. We went to, there's a place in Silverton, Oregon, the Oregon Garden, and they have lights that you can walk around. There's all these like stories and whatnot. And there's this red tube of lights, and it said, "Beware, do not enter." And of course, my daughter's like, "Yeah, let's go in there." So we walk over, and it's Krampus, and she saw him. And now, whenever she's being bad or not listening, she's like, "Please don't tell Krampus. Don't tell Krampus he can come and get me." And I'm like, well, turn those listening ears on.
I feel like my daughter, uh, she thinks that Santa is just as bad as Krampus because like we have this little Santa. It's like in like a bag of toys, his presents, and you hit the button on his finger, and he like kind of like a Jack in the Box. He like pops up and does a little twerk and like does a little dance and then goes back down. And
She hates
she freaking hates it. She also just hates like we took her to see Santa Claus last weekend and she bawled her eyes out the second I put her in his lap.
Yeah, my daughter, this was the first year both of my kids were like open to talking to Santa and like going to tell him what they wanted. And they saw him twice. And my daughter went up and Santa's like, "What would you like for Christmas?" And she just said, "A real live bear. A real live bear, you guys." My daughter wants a real live bear.
Well, now you have to get that. You have to get that.
Yeah,
So
I do. So if anybody has any bear hookups in the next 5 days, I could really use your help.
no, you just go out in the woods. You have bears out there. Go
I've
like this. Go.
never seen a bear in
Pss,
the
pss,
woods.
pss, 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 pss,
I
pss.
think I'll find
At
like
one of your
wolves or Bigfoot before I find a bear.
well, you have salmon, so you could.
Not really. My uncle made me get rid of like all the salmon.
Well, you have an uncle. You can take him with you, and he could attract
Yeah.
the.
He can't run very fast, so that'd be perfect.
That's perfect. That like you said before, you have to have someone with you who is slower so you can survive.
Yep. You have to have a girl and a guy, but the girl you have to be able to run faster than. It was the rule. There were a lot of dumb rules, but that one, it sticks.
Um, the third creepy tradition is called Mary. Uh, I do this to myself every time. I find hard to pronounce things. I'm pretty sure it's Mary Lwyd. It's Lwyd, and it's from Wales. So picture this: it's New Year's Eve, and you are a small Welsh child. Hi, I'm a Welsh child. You hear a knock on the door. You open it, and looming over you is a creature with a horse's skull, wearing a long, billowing cloak and trailed by people chanting. In the horse's eye cavities are fake eyeballs, and its mouth is slightly ajar. Ah, no, I've been a good a Welsh child. Don't get me.
I googled this, and this is scary. Oh my gosh. I've never. That is a thing of nightmares. Wow. I'm not from this timeline.
Right?
No
These,
way. There's no
um,
way. Even the drawings.
yeah, they're so creepy. Like I would, even if it's like fake and someone knocked on my door, fuck that. You
I found
are
one that just
getting,
said, "We just started dinner. Come on in."
today, unrelated to creepy, in my community, they have a Facebook page, obviously. Well, several. One I am banned in, because I was trolling someone. So funny.
You
I
you
get
get banned a lot.
I get banned from, I would say, the majority of the groups I joined for just trolling. Like
Oh, I'm just
there's a
alert.
weather group I'm in for my state, and these people like will post a picture of an airplane, like an actual airplane, and they'll say, "Is this a UFO?" And like they're serious. They're like asking a serious question. And so I just post a picture of like that guy who has like a cigarette and he's like this. I just do that every single one. And then and recently I start like photoshopping it, so like I'll continue posting it, but like a new cigarette is added to the photo each time. So
How
it's
many
like
cigarettes have you
8,000.
done?
I think like 10 or 12.
Wow. They haven't kicked you out of that group
Um,
yet?
they haven't. I think I don't say anything. I just like post the meme. That's it. But yeah, so I got kicked out of the bad drivers group from my area, and I don't know why. I didn't even like do anything. I just like one day I was not in the group anymore,
No,
and
they
I
saw
can't
you in
find
that
it.
weather group and they're like, we don't want trouble.
Fuck this guy. Um. Oh, but anyway, so the point I was trying to say was that in the community group, somebody posted a picture of two salesmen at their door, and they're like, "Does anyone know who these people are, or where they're from? Because I have a no soliciting sign, and they're knocking on my door. I want to report them to the police." And I was like, "Are you seriously kidding me? Like, this is what you guys worry about?" And then someone in the comments said like, "Well, this is just as bad as vandalism." And I'm like, ah. And so I posted the picture of the guy with the cigarette, and I was like, "What the fuck are we doing here, guys? What is going on? Like, why?"
How are you not any worse on this Facebook group than these people? Yeah, you're bothering me. Wow. Wow. I would have just been like, they're Jehovah's Witnesses. That's
Like,
all I got. They're not
like,
selling things. It's just a religion thing. They're selling
yeah,
religion.
they're
Doesn't,
still.
it's exempt, like taxes.
But they have those like great Christmas concerts where they have like the guy coming out of like the rafters and like playing the electric guitar, big
Jesus? John
what?
Lennon?
it's it's a guy dressed like Jesus.
I'm just thinking of have you seen Tommy the Who's rock opera?
No, I haven't.
Oh man, you're missing out. Okay, so the Who has a rock opera, Tommy, and John Lennon at one point is singing in a church like setting, and their god is like a big statue of Marilyn Monroe, and like they're trying everything to get like Tommy's sight back. It's a pretty messed up movie, um, but I like the Who, and it's yeah, it's just it's a pretty messed up movie, but there's a lot of good parts too, like oh. I can't think of his name right now, and that's embarrassing. Tiny Dancer singer.
Oh, the closer, tiny dancer. Billy Joel.
Is oh no, that's not Billy Joel. But I have to
Okay.
go back because I was wrong. It's not John Lennon. It's Eric Clapton. Please forgive me, everybody. It's Eric Clapton that's singing um to Marilyn Monroe. I'm so
I
sorry.
stand I stand corrected. Tiny Dancer is by Elton John,
Yes,
not
thank
Billy
you.
Joel.
Elton John is playing a piano pinball machine on stilts. Like, check it out.
Hold me closer, tiny dancer.
Yeah, but he's singing Pinball Wizard.
Okay, that's my
Because this kid who's deaf, dumb, and blind is somehow like really good at pinball. So the whole premise of the movie is that he goes through a really traumatic experience and he's deaf, dumb, and blind, and they're like trying to figure out anything to like wake him up, make him see, hear, anything. Yeah.
what's it called again?
Tommy.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, I have the record still originally sealed. Pretty cool. You've learned a lot about me today.
You love to torture spiders, and now you're a spider. You run a spider sanctuary apparently.
Yes.
You like the Who. You like smelling ants, specifically dead ants.
The only ant that's a good ant is a dead ant, so yes.
You want to open a Christmas store with your kids' ornaments as the main attraction.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so the number four creepy tradition is from France, and it's called Hans Trap. According to Alsatian lore, Hans Trap was a local man renowned for his greed and unscrupulousness. He used witchcraft and deals with the devil to become rich, and after being excommunicated from the Catholic Church, he lost his wealth and his social standing. He took to roaming the countryside disguised as a scarecrow, and at some point, Hans Trapp became consumed with the idea of tasting human flesh. He lured a shepherd boy to his death and then cooked him over a fire. Before Hans Trapp could take his first bite, however, I don't know why I'm laughing. Don't know. I'm thinking of Wicked. Okay, I don't know why I'm. Don't judge me.
I'm trying not to. I'm also just staring at the photos that Google has for this. Jesus, these are way scarier than Irish traditions, which I thought were going to be the entirety of this list.
Um, at some point, he went to taste human flesh, and he lured a shepherd boy and cooked him. However, before he could take his first bite, um, God, finally feeling that things had gone too far, struck him with lightning. He died, but he returned sometimes on Christmas to go from door to door looking for young, tasty children. I like how in this story, God's like, he lured the boy, killed him, and then cooked him. But the biting went too far.
I
Look at
just
that.
Christmas scarecrow is terrifying. And why is he like trick or treating?
Call J.G. Wentworth 877.
Oh my gosh. It's yeah, that is terrifying. Hans trap.
Hans Trap. The next one, I Good God. It's from the Balkans, so Greece. Uh, Kalik. Okay, I'm just gonna spell it. Kalikantzarai. I can spell it slower for you if you want. Kalikant Zori. Uh, in Greece and several Balkan countries, the tradition adds a unique mystical flavor to the holiday season. These mischievous goblins or spirits are believed to emerge during the 12 days of Christmas, causing havoc and playing pranks on people. According to folklore, they dwell underground, sawing the world tree to bring chaos to Earth. However, each Christmas, when they are close to succeeding, they are finally forced to return underground, finding the tree has healed and their efforts redone. Um, yeah. So goblins and spirits.
And they are pretty dang creepy too.
I'm impressed that you actually were able to find them based on how I butchered the name and spelled it so fast.
Yeah, I have missed everything that you said because I was opening Google. Um, because I keep thinking, you know what? No, it's fine. I don't need to Google every single thing. No, I just the Calcantazori. I spelled it out the best I could, and it was like, here you go.
It's like, listen, you dumb fuck. This is how you pronounce it. This is how you spell. Um,
But yeah, no, that they remind me of when I was younger and there was like cartoons and they'd have like the depiction of the little devil guy. That's what they look like.
I thought you were gonna say the the Keebler elves.
Oh no, not the Keebler elves. Side note, I actually did get some of those little Keebler elf cookies, the ones that have the chocolate in the middle, for my kids. And my daughter saw it this morning for the first time and she was like, "What's that?" I was like, "It's a cookie." And she just like lit up. She's like, "What is this magic? They're different?" It's like, "Yeah, look, they've got little elves on them."
And
I was
me over
packing my
here
lunch.
thinking they're demons.
No, they're not demon. They are not this thing, whatever that thing is.
Um, and the final one that I found is it's was mentioned in The Office, I think, in season 9 after Michael leaves. It's called Belschnickel. Belschnickel was another helpful character to St. Nicholas, although instead of accompanying him on his rounds, the fur clad and short tempered man visited the children beforehand to, to whip them into shape.
That is a very Dwight thing to dress up as.
Instead of sneaking down the chimney, Belschnickel rapped on the window and shook his bells, carrying a sack of candy, candy in one hand and a switch in the other. Even though children often proclaimed that they had been good all year, he'd ask them to recite a poem or a Bible verse, and those who stumbled or behaved badly were whacked with the stick to remind them to change their ways. It originated in Germany, France, and Switzerland, and came over to when the with the Pennsylvania Dutch.
Yeah, it says on here that you may think that there's some confusion between him and Krampus, but Krampus is more of a demonic creature, and Belschnickel is decidedly human. If he's wearing horns or antlers, it's because it's attached to his hat. Wow. That is a very Dwight character. Did he make this up?
I thought he did, and it's actually real. It's actually real.
My favorite part of Christmas, the authority and the fear. Yes, exactly. Come on, right. You're making this up. Okay, I was just trying to look up. What does Dwight say as Belshazzar?
Uh, yeah, and that was after Michael left, and that was just man, those seasons kind of
Chaos.
sucked,
Yeah. Yeah.
unfortunately,
I
sadly.
mean, yeah. You need Michael. There is no office without Michael. They tried.
They did. They tried. They're rebooting the series too. Not specifically with the Dunder Mifflin, but they're doing it with like a different. I think it's like a newspaper on the East Coast.
They can try, but I feel like a lot of the things that they got away with back then, you can't get away with that kind of stuff these days.
God no, yeah,
Not on this
especially that
timeline.
not on this. Be a different timeline, especially not like the first season where Michael was completely like just unhinged, offensive with all his jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't think. Yeah. We'll see. It's not going to do as well, that's for sure.
No. So, guys, thank you for joining us to this episode, the last one of 2024. We appreciate you sticking around throughout the year. We'll be back in 2025, all good things, and we'll hear some more of Steph's confessions to her deepest, darkest secrets. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.